This week on the podcast, I'm bringing you segments of a recent interview I did with Jeremy Keil. He's the host of the Retirement Revealed podcast. Be sure to check that out. And in today's interview or segment, we're continuing our conversation from yesterday. So we talked a lot about taxes yesterday, and we dive into a little bit more detail, talking in depth about Roth conversions and also retirement spending strategies, and why it's so crucial to think through both of these decisions as you approach retirement, and especially in the early years of retirement as well.
The deck is stacked towards maybe pay taxes now if that's your situation. But even better is to just project out and plan it. So when we do tax planning for retirement, if we think you're going to have a 30-year retirement, we'll have 30 years worth of tax returns projected out based on here's what you're likely to do. And then thankfully there's computers around, so it can run tens of thousands of scenarios to say, well, what if you spend money from your regular account, or you spend money from your traditional, or you spend money from your Roth? Or what if you take your traditional and move it on over to Roth? And if you do a Roth conversion, well, how much do you do? And if you do that, well, how long do you do it? Do you stop after 1 or 2 or 3 years? Do you stop after you turn on Social Security or you hit the required minimum distribution age? Generally thinking, just look for the times when you have lower taxes and try to pay the taxes then to avoid the higher taxes later on. Better yet is to do it on your own or work with a retirement-focused financial planner that will project out your entire retirement's tax returns and then change things around to see, well, can we lower those taxes over the lifetime? Generally speaking, yes, Roth conversions are a good way to go. And yes, the general situation or general recommendation, they call it conventional wisdom, is to spend down from your taxable accounts first, which is your regular brokerage accounts. But the improvement upon that is if you spend down from your taxable accounts now, you'll probably have a fairly low tax situation. Use that tax room to take money from traditional, move it on over to the Roth. That's the general way to look at it.
Yeah, I agree. I think early retirement taxes tend to be lower for a lot of people, and that would be the time. You have this short window of time before maybe you start Social Security, before those required distributions kick in. Do you find that on paper, it's like, yes, this makes sense, but when push comes to shove, I think a lot of people have a lot of reservations about doing the Roth conversions because they don't want to pay all those taxes up front. So you kind of walk them to the pool, but then when it's time to jump in, they're like, I don't know, or they do a lesser amount than what would be advisable. Do you have those issues? Or I guess, how do you overcome some of the, I think, objections, which is, I don't want to pay Uncle Sam all these taxes right now. I would rather just not do that and kick the can down the road. How do you address that concern?
Yeah, that's why you have a kind of a before and after, right? So you've got, here's if you don't do anything, here's if you do. And over your lifetime, it's $800,000 of taxes projected over your lifetime if you don't do any Roth conversions, and then $600,000 projected over your lifetime if you do the Roth conversions. When you see the numbers stacked up where you see six-figure numbers, 100 grand, 200 grand plus of lifetime tax savings, that gets you thinking, okay, I'm willing to pay the taxes earlier. And it is a sacrifice. It will cost you money today to pay taxes today, and the intent is that it saves you money down the road. That's exactly how you got to a good retirement. You were 20, 30, 40, and you were saving for retirement so that you'd have the retirement dollars later on. You hit retirement and your sacrifice, your pre-planning is not save money today, it's pay taxes today so that you can have a tax-free later on in retirement.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen the numbers like you have where you expand that over 20, 30-year retirement, and being careful and thoughtful about the taxes especially really has a huge impact. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars difference that you wouldn't otherwise have later on in life in your investments if you weren't thinking about the taxes. So I think a lot of people, especially people who don't run the numbers on their retirement, don't realize they seem like little decisions, but because we're talking over a 30-year time period, Roth conversions, when you take Social Security, all these decisions on their own can mean the hundreds of thousands of dollars difference in assets fast forward 20, 30 years. So yeah, I think that's really important.